Say, kids, what time is it?
It's kind of like watching TV, but, in your car.
104.7 The Cave. Mike the Intern, Jay Stevens in the studio this morning to discuss the new documentary film on Hulu, directed by Questlove of The Roots. It's called Sly Lives, The Burden of Black Genius.
But then they crossed out black.
Yeah.
The burden of genius.
Burden of Genius.
Genius knows no color.
So I have said this a million and billion times, but Mike the Intern's favorite style of music is soul music, and all the subgenres that come with that. That includes R&B, funk, and Sly and the Family Stone fit right into that. Sly and that band put out so many incredible records. But before we talk about the band, him, what they were able to do, were you familiar with him going into this? You
Not
just knew,
at all.
like,
That's why
you knew a couple of songs.
I heard about him.
Did you know he was a DJ?
No, I learned.
He was us.
These are the best documentaries when I know nothing about him.
Yeah,
dude,
he was the man. And before we get into that, and I'm sure you were like, this is just like every guy that I loved in the 80s, but he's before all them,
bro.
Which he was. And again, Sly, just like a lot of the R&B and soul singers of his time, got his start in church. But I thought the things that I learned in that were two things. One, how he basically did band every single day when he was describing, like, Monday night we had choir practice, Tuesday night we had church band practice.
Just something working.
That's like as a kid,
just
right?
Putting in work.
Like literally. And then he goes to high school. He's in the Bay Area, graduates, and then he said, according to him, he had the best music teacher in the world.
Yes.
And in 6 months,
props to that teacher.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Right.
That literally, like, if you are thinking about becoming a teacher, you got to understand that when you become that person, you have such power in your hands to either help kids on the path that they need or stifle them. Obviously, this teacher that he had at some community college in San Francisco,
he saw it, man,
was so awesome that he said that he learned about 8 years worth of stuff in 6 months. And since Sly was who he was, he took it all. And then after that 6 months, the teacher's like, get the hell out of here. Go
what
do
are you doing
thing.
Going to school?
Yeah, he's like, you go
do your thing, brother. You go do your thing. Yeah, what a great teacher that was, right?
He would go produce a band called The Great Society, and his first single that he produced with them was Find Somebody to Love.
Yeah, Somebody to Love.
Which then would be re-recorded with Grace
Jefferson,
Slick in
Starship or
Jefferson Airplane a couple of years later. But that was his first, like, production credit. And again, this is like 65.
That's a banger.
He was one of the most popular radio DJs and then decides, you know what, that's not enough. I'm going to go start a band. And brought his brothers and sisters in.
Assembled the best players he could find.
And got such a great, great band together. And we'll talk about that band next as we talk about Sly Lives, Dark Side of the Stream on 104.7 The Cave. Mike the Intern, Jay Stevens back in the studio. It's Dark Side of the Stream, episode 220, I think.
Maybe.
All right.
Tyler, producer. We got a thumbs up from Tyler.
220. And
but he did stay up all night, though, watching the OC.
Hey, you might want to write this down because Tyler tends to forget what we talked about within like an hour of doing it. It's called Sly Lives on Hulu. And so we're into the mid-60s. Sly decides he's going to start a band. His brother's in there. Got an incredible drummer who, again...
17-year-old white guy.
Yeah, who... That was the thing about the Family Stone that was so badass. It was integrated racially and
musically.
So you had men and women in the band. You had multicolors in the band. You also had different styles in the band. But what would come years and years later when hip-hop started rediscovering Sly and the Family Stone and sampling, his drums specifically are on so many different hip-hop samples. It's unbelievable. It's like Funky Drummer from James Brown. Some of the Sly and Family Stone stuff is just as sampled. Who's getting paid for that? I don't know.
Yeah, that's the bummer part.
Definitely probably not Sly or the drummer. But when you hear what these guys are able to do, it goes back to what I think one of Sly's greatest strengths was, and that is to be a producer. And he said it himself. He goes, he likes to kind of, and what that's a producer's job is to put you in the spot kind of maybe direct you or put you on a path, but then let you go.
Let you do your thing.
So say, hey, this is kind of what I want, and then let you go. And that's why Sly and the Family Stone work so well as a band, because he had an idea and a vision, but he can't then sit down and play the drums for you and play the bass for you and play guitar for you and then sing up all, because so many of those songs, bass player maybe sing a line, trumpet player might sing a line, keyboard player might sing a line, a guitar player might sing a line, Sly might sing a line, and it's integrated that way.
It was wild, man. Wild to watch.
So awesome.
And I had no clue that this dude was as huge as he was.
Massive.
Like the Black Elvis they were calling.
They were calling him the Black Elvis.
Who knew? Who knew, man?
But then, obviously, and dude, the story about Woodstock, the drummer was like, put down a pile of white powder, threw mescaline into it.
Yeah, this is
and
where
then blew those things out, and I don't know
drugs
if
became a big issue.
Have you already seen their Woodstock performance?
No, only what I saw in this documentary.
Go watch it.
Is it off the hook,
dude? Well, I didn't know the substances they were on, but then when you watch it again, and you're like, oh my god, because that band is on fire that night.
The drugs probably helped it.
You had all these musicians in this documentary saying that show from late 60s to about 74, if you saw Sly and the Family Stone live, it was the best concert you've ever seen.
Yeah, that's what they said, right?
And that's talking about the same time period as the Beatles exist, Led Zeppelin exists,
right.
Black Sabbath exists, The Who exists, Aerosmith
exists. As soon as I saw...
I could just start going down all these bands that are literally the cornerstones of rock and roll, but at the same time, you got these guys saying, Sly and the Family Stone were better, man.
Incorporated all styles. I mean, and as soon as I saw some footage live, I go, oh, that's Prince. This is where Prince got his deal from.
Oh, hands down.
Yeah.
Prince.
100%.
There are so many other artists that would not exist.
Bruno Mars,
without Sly saying, you know what? I'm going to bring you into what I do. And unfortunately, when you get that
level of fame and money, and
it can work against you if you like.
You got those demons, yeah.
And he definitely did, and that's what we'll talk about next. Dark Side of the Stream on 104.7 The Cave. Jay Stevens, Mike the Intern, back in the studio. It's Dark Side of the Stream, episode 220. Sly lives on Hulu. So, as with every sad rock and roll star story, interestingly enough, Sly really did do it first. You think about it, right?
He was the first guy to go crazy on drugs.
The proto-funk and psychedelic stuff that he was doing predates Prince and everyone else that would come after him. The showing up late for concerts or not showing up late, because I thought that girl who told the story about how he was in the bathroom for like an hour and a half, they had to go back out and play.
Yeah,
she obviously was in love with him, true, tried to save him.
Woo, yeah.
But didn't work. His kids being on there.
You get hangers-ons.
The chalk story with his kid.
Yes, with the Monopoly money.
The thing is, like,
dude,
I don't know what your bottom is. I do understand a thing or two about addiction, and I'm not going to speak on it, but I will say that if I ever came home and saw my kid had chalk dust around their nose,
because they were chalking up chalk,
I could go any lower than that. I don't know where at that point you could go.
Well, and then the rap sheet, they show his rap sheet, and it was like over the course of 2 years,
it was like every day,
every month, arrest, parole violation, arrest for cocaine, like. Arrest for crack. He's doing crack with George Clinton.
I looked it up.
Dude.
You want to know what year he got sober?
When?
How?
I'm amazed that he made it through.
Guess what year?
95.
2019.
Oh my gosh.
5 years ago.
He finally got sober.
He got sober 5
6 years ago.
Around that time, the word on the street was that he was living in a trailer somewhere.
Oh my gosh!
In the Crenshaw area of L.A., which you know exactly where the hell that is, and that's like
how awesome would it have been to find
like
him,
where they shot parts of Judgment Day with Terminator. But anyway, an Escape from L.A. That's not a good spot. But his family and his kids got together, and supposedly he's in a good situation. He's got his own home, and they have a relationship with him.
I can't believe he's still alive. That was the biggest takeaway. I was like, the documentary's going, and I'm like, okay, he's probably gonna die here now soon. Probably gonna die, and then like, it stopped. The documentary ended, and I go, I had to Google. I go, did I miss it or something? No, the dude is still alive.
No. And I hope, and it seemed to me towards the end that he's got a really good relationship with his kids and his family, and I think that is very important. to them and to him. You can't do anything about the years lost and what happened in between, but at least they have the time now to try and fix it going forward, which I think is really important, especially with anything when it comes to addiction. It doesn't mean you can't apologize and move on when you decide that enough's enough and you need to get clean.
If they make a movie about him, like an actual movie, they have to. The whole time I heard him speak, I go, "Oh my gosh!" If I close my eyes, this is John Jones, UFC fighter. They talk exactly the same. Kind of have the same face. Dude, same cadence in the voice. That chill, mellow, just like speak.
It just sucks.
You have to be the guy.
The biopics are cool, but I don't want another biopic. I just want another band to exist like Sly and the Family Stone.
We have to start one. We're DJs. We're on the right path already.
You brought up something that I literally have said 1,000,001 times. Like, if I could start my favorite band, if I could start a band that exactly what I want, it would be a cross between Sly and the Family Stone and Earth, Wind and Fire. If I could figure out a band that exists that has those things in it, killer horn lines, great singers, everyone is like
that
the
one
best
band around here. Is it the ABS band or whatever?
Yeah, ABS. Those guys
do a great job, man. They do a great job.
That would be, and I just
closest thing I've seen to that around here.
But again, I'm just talking about there are bands that exist. Duran Jones, Monophonics, a lot of bands. But Sly and the Family Stone, they laid the groundwork. We'll be back to talk about our reviews of it next. Dark Side of the Stream on 104.7 The Cave. Jay Stevens, Mike the Intern, back in the studio one more time. Dark Side of the Stream, episode 220. Sly Lives on Hulu. So how many everyday people would you give this?
Good. I'm going to go 4.5 because it was
solid.
It was
Quest did a really good job.
Informative for me because I didn't know about it.
I know his angle towards the end, the whole the burden of black genius.
Yeah,
because
the
he
pressure,
asks them a lot.
the added lever of pressure.
That part of it is D'Angelo's part was the one where I thought you needed to really listen to what he's saying, because he says the pressure of my success is also your success because of who you are in this country, being an African-American man. And two, the public is a lot less forgiving for people of non-color when they screw up, i.e. Vince Neil. He literally killed someone because he was drunk. It's 8 months back. He's touring one of the most beloved bands in the country.
Right.
Had that happen with a black singer, we would have never heard about him again.
Man.
I mean, am I wrong?
Yeah, probably true.
I'm not saying good, bad, or indifferent. I'm just stating fact.
It was also crazy that he was doing all this massive success during that period of time,
and how much he crossed over.
Yeah, incredible.
And then when the sad part about it, where he was still doing daytime TV and all that stuff, and showing up, and like running, and like you see all these old people like clapping and stuff like that. It became almost like a caricature,
like a freak show. Yeah, like a freak show type
sucks
thing.
Because that's just so.
I know.
It's
like I said, time moved on, and he kind of didn't. He
was in the future, but he didn't adapt to keep continuing. But again, that's because of the substances, hands down. It helps until it starts to hurt and then works against you. But I thought the interviews are incredible. Yeah, I'd give it a perfect score.
Yeah, it was cool. It was good.
Such a great.
Who knew he was that huge, man, and successful?
Dude,
it's incredible.
Everyone had at least the Sly in the Family Stone greatest hits.
And of course, it ends.
Everyone has that record.
Him on drugs and no money and in a trailer, like
nothing.
Like
one
sad,
of the biggest
man.
bands in the world.
Sad man got screwed. I guess there was some lawsuits. I did a little research. There
were in the rights and royalties and all that stuff. But at the end of the day, I mean, you look at what he started.
Hell of a ride.
But then you look at guys like Stevie Wonder, who would take that torch, take it even further, and continue to adapt to what happens up until a point. But again, I don't know. It's a crazy, crazy story.
Wild moment in time, man.
Definitely, if you haven't familiarized yourself with the incredible Sly and the Family Stone, please do it. Just start with the greatest hits. Great record. What are we watching next week?
We're watching a documentary I stumbled upon on Netflix called Tell Me Who I Am.
Tell Me Who I Am.
Yeah, it brings up a really interesting moral question. So I'll be curious to see your take on it too.
Okay.
Every once in a while, Jay gets moral values.
Yeah,
and,
well, it's never
very
too late.
rarely, but
never
once
too
in a
late,
while.
as I just said. As always, you can watch us do this live on Facebook or YouTube every Thursday at 9 a.m. We do it during our shows, 9 a.m. and 6 p.m.
Well,
you can always download
9:10 because sometimes Tyler is late.
Yeah, sometimes Tyler's been up all
Tyler,
night
the
watching the
producer's
OC,
watching the
so we
OC
can't,
at night with probably
can't actually
a girl, I
start
would
on
assume.
time like we normally do. But again, he's just learning certain
He's all
things
in
about
black
life.
today,
I
just
don't know
like
if he's
me.
watching the OC to try and figure out how to pick up chicks or
Well,
because
he
those
does.
aren't the type
Tyler
of girls
does.
you
Tyler
want.
does do a new segment on our sister station where he gives love advice.
Yeah, and
So
recently heard how he got out of a date.
this guy's a little
too, which is
Casanova.
Pretty
Little Casanova we got behind the mixer
Tyler.
here.
Either way, you can download it for free as a podcast for free on our 104.7 The Cave app. I'm Mike the Intern. That's Jay Stevens reminding you we watch movies
Documentaries,
so you don't have to. It's
to.
Dark Side of the Stream on 104.7 The Cave.